Well, thank you guys for coming. I think that objection handling is a basic fundamental skill for real estate agents, and I think that there's really a lack of that in the industry. So one of the things I do want to start with is if you could please turn your phones off or silent, and please, if you can, try to refrain from speaking to people and having these long conversations back and forth, because as a person that's speaking, it is very distracting and it does break the person's train of thought when they're in the middle of something. So I just respectfully ask that you try to refrain from that type of stuff. So I think that objection handling is a basic 101. I mean, you're with these customers, and I think that most of us believe that we're pretty good real estate agents. And we're pretty good real estate agents, and it's in the customer's best interest to really use us as a real estate agent. And when you don't handle their objections correctly, they end up using somebody else, and they may not get the service or the guidance or the truthfulness that we bring to the table. So I think it's a skill. It's part of, it's like I talked about last week. You know, you can have the uniform, you can have the glove, you can have the baseball. That doesn't put you at a major league level where you can go play in Major League Baseball. And even the people that do have that skill set, they will continue to train. They go to spring training. They practice these scripts. They go over them over and over again so that they have some familiarity with what to say in certain circumstances. If a ball is bunted and the bases are loaded, everybody pretty much is rehearsed where they need to be in each individual circumstance. So for us, I think that being prepared for some of the basic objection handling tactics that we commonly see on a daily basis. I always feel like there's about 100. Daniel, welcome. I think that there's really about 100 different things that a buyer or seller could say to a real estate agent. I honestly didn't do much prep for this because I felt like I wanted to have audience participation, because you have things that you're probably afraid that a buyer or seller will say to you, and I wanted you to be able to spit them out and then for us to tackle those objections right now along with the standard ones that we pretty much see every day. So some of the things I know, does anybody in here ever contact for sale by owners? Does anybody talk to buy owners? So one of the things to me is the biggest fear that people have with the buy owners is they feel like, well, of course, they just want to save the commission and they're going to sell the home themselves, so I'm easily eliminated. Well, if you believe that, it's true. But I don't believe that. I believe that if a buy owner sells on their own, from a statistical standpoint, they're going to lose. So convincing them to list with a real estate agent with a valuable marketing plan is in their best interest, because they're going to get more buyers looking at their home. The more buyers that they have looking at their home, the more offers that they're going to have on their home. The more offers they have on their home, the higher the price. And it's going to more than compensate them for the amount of money that they thought themselves they would have saved. So, for instance, Ellie, I see that your house is for sale by owner, and I'm Vincent Arcuri with LPT Realty. I've just recently sold some houses in the neighborhood. I have an overflow of buyers, and they're interested in this neighborhood, and we always have people, because of the Steinbrenner School District, are always looking to buy here. And I noticed your property just popped up over here as I was driving by. I saw your for sale by owner sign. I'm just wondering why you're selling the house by owner.
Oh, I know lots of people, Vince, and I can do it by myself. I know too many people.
I totally understand that, and that's, of course, the most common objection that I get from for sale by owners. But let me ask you this, Ellie. If I could come and show you and Mr. Lambert my marketing plan, and I could demonstrate to you without a shadow of a doubt that you would net more money in your pocket by listing your house with me than you ever could by selling by owner, would you at least look at my marketing plan?
Absolutely.
What's a good time to meet, later today or tomorrow?
Today.
4 o'clock or 6 o'clock?
4.
I'll see you at 4 o'clock. Now you got a listing appointment. Now, with all the tools, now typically what I'm going to do is when I go, I'm going to drop off, while I'm there, I'm going to drop off my 9 questions, which we all have with our picture on it. We all have it, and I'm going to say, Ellie, before before I go, I'm going to come back later and demonstrate my marketing plan to you as well and bring you a market analysis. And of course, I'm going to try to get in and look at the house and do my typical that we talked about last week on the pre-listing appointment. I want to be able to get in and look at the house so I can give an accurate market analysis. But before I go, I want to drop off my 9 critical questions. In case you said you had a lot of friends in the industry, you might want to ask them those 9 questions before you consider listing your home with them, because we do things a little bit different at LPT. Anybody that wants a copy of what we did last week, if you just text me 813 Vincent, I have a copy of that. I just ask that you not share it with other people because there are a few things in there that we're going to refine for the convention next week. So that's the listing presentation from last week that I would say I go into with that buy owner. And then, of course, when I'm with them for buy owner, you have to show them the numbers. And some of the things that I would say during that listing presentation is I'd say, Gina, I mean, you can see that with the marketing that I have over here, I mean, you buy owner are basically on an island by yourself. I mean, you have your for sale by owner sign. Most of the real estate agents that are calling you are trying to get the listing like myself, but they really don't have a game plan. Now I'm at my listing presentation, and I would like to show you all the things that we do at LPT Realty that bring a spotlight on your home, even over other homes that are listed in the MLS, because I think after you see the marketing plan that I have, you're going to understand that the more buyers that we have in here,
Right.
the more eyes we have looking, the more people are going to like it. The more people that like it, the more people are going to make offers on the property, and the more offers you have. Would you agree that you're going to get the highest and best price?
Yeah, I agree.
And also, you know, most people that are looking to buy owner, they're also saving a real estate commission. So they're coming in and they're thinking, well, I'm going to save 5, 6, 7% commission on this deal by not going through a realtor myself. And there's really only one commission, and you really have 2 people that are really not familiar with the real estate process. Keep in mind, there's a lot of legal things that have to be filled out correctly in the exchange of properties. When I'm dealing with my lenders and my title companies that I deal with, I'm the top of the line priority for them because of the amount of volume that I do. Whereas you guys are just one person, it's going to be very annoying for them. There's going to be having to ask a lot of questions, and it creates an atmosphere that's not really going to benefit you, not even financially. And ultimately, the National Association of Realtors has been keeping statistics for over 30 years on this, and the average buy owner sells for 18% less than a home sold by a reputable real estate agent. So that fact alone should scare you and show you over a 30-year period the odds of you getting the net number that you're thinking you're going to get are not very good. Is that okay?
Wow.
Would that be something that you do? Buy owners are buy owners. Go ahead, Rose.
But Vince, I can just hire an attorney to draw up all that paperwork for me.
I would encourage you to go hire a real estate attorney and speak to a real estate attorney, because most of the real estate attorneys that I deal with charge more than 7% to handle the transaction. Plus, they're going to want to do the title work as well. That's going to be probably a 10% fee for you to go through an attorney. So I highly recommend that you do go talk, because good news for you is my commission is not 10%. So on that front, I'm going to save you a lot of money as well. Any other objections on the buy owners?
I've sold homes before, so I've been through this process already.
You know, Gina, I could probably, and I'm sure you did a great job with that, but I'm sure that I could go through and show you the comps at the time, even 2 years ago when the interest rates were so low and there were bidding wars that were going on. I could see buy owners in the neighborhoods that I work. I can see that they were still selling for 10 or 15% below. If anything, it works contrary because they feel like there's less competition. I mean, there's about 18,000 real estate agents on our board, and when I put a home in MLS and I market it properly, I have 18, let's just assume every real estate agent in our board is working one buyer. I've got 18,000 sets of eyes looking at your home, which as a buy owner, you have the people driving by, and maybe Zillow, Zillow is the reason why you're getting calls from real estate agents, because that's what they're looking for their next meal. So unfortunately, I can almost show you left money on the table. Had you hired me to sell those other properties before, based on the marketing plan that I'm about to show you, I think you'll agree that you would have netted much more money in your pocket by listing with me than you would have by selling by owner.
Okay, so how would I net more money if I'm still paying a commission?
Well, you're going to net more money because the sales price is going to be substantially higher. Is everybody familiar with their box, with their listing power tool box? Well, first of all, Gina, when I'm sending out mailers to your neighborhood, I'm making the announcements. I'm using all the tools that are in the power tool. I don't bring this box with me, by the way. What I do, Ellie doesn't like me carrying all this stuff, so I take one piece of each. I take each flyer, each piece. If you were at my training last week, I explained how I use each piece in there. This book also explains, if you're not ordering these books, you need to have these books on your listing presentation with you. I put a copy of each piece. I put the just listed, the door hanger, I put it in here. I put the flyer in here. I put the thank you card. I put one of each in here, and then I go through and I explain how I'm using each piece. And Gina, this is how I can expose your home. This doesn't even go through the digital part of it, which I also digitally market this entire area. And I don't go into, these digital ads are not real estate based. And what I mean by that is if somebody's in the ESPN app, or they're on the Fox News app, or they're in the CNN app, they're getting, in the middle of their news stories, they're getting, hey, this house just hit the market. That's how a lot of homes are sold. And we can also do that in New York. If there's a snow day, I can do a digital blast out there. Everybody wants to move to Florida. Look how congested our streets are getting. We target those people. I'm able to target those people at a level that you can't touch. And I think the more eyes that you have looking at your property, and the reason why I can net you more money is my offers are going to be higher. And there's going to be more frequency with the hiring. I'm able to expose your home to not hundreds of more people. I'm able to expose your home to tens of thousands of people. I've been doing this a long time, and I do want to demonstrate exactly how this works, and I go into the thing. We're not doing a good enough job demonstrating to these buy owners or the expireds as well, which we're going to get into in a minute, because the attitude that you get from an expired listing is far more foul than anything you're going to get from a buy owner. So it's a whole different set of strategic handling with those. So to me, being familiar with your marketing and to be able to calmly sit down and explain to them in a rational manner, unless you just got some jerk that's just dead set on not using, he hasn't sat on the market long enough, it's his first or second day. And don't be discouraged, because they may say, hey, I'm going to try this for a couple of weeks. Go ahead.
Vince, why would I hire you when this guy's on television telling me I can sell my house for 2%?
Well, that's a great question. That's a great question, and I've seen it. And that model that I see of that guy on TV doing the 2%, and I've been doing this a long time, and this is what I would say, because I've been around the block a few times. I would say that 2% guy tried that model before with a company called eHome Discovery, the exact same model. Number one, that model failed. It failed miserably, and I believe it's going to fail again, because anytime interest rates go up, that model fails, and you see less and less of their commercials right now on TV because of that 2%. Let me explain to you how it works. That gentleman calls a local real estate agent here in Tampa. Say he calls me, and he says, hey, Vince, I got a listing, and that 2%, by the way, Mr. Homestead, is just for their side. So they still have to offer 2.5%, as an example, 3%, whatever they're going to offer to the other broker. So now you're getting up to the 5-6% commissions again, going this way. But let me explain how it works with him. He will go and refer, Ellie Lambert, I got a seller for you that I just got off my TV commercial. And because TV commercials are so expensive, I have to charge you a 40% referral fee. So of that 2% that they're promising to charge you, let's just call it 50%, half of it. So now Ellie's working for 1%. What do you think the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to cut? This marketing that I just showed you is non-existent with that company. So they're not going to do that. They're going to stick it in MLS. They might even, Ellie might just take pictures with her iPhone as opposed to professional photography and video, because she has to save money because this company just took all of their money. That's number one. Second of all, the same company that company, he is not making the offer on those properties. I'll give you a little insight. He does not make the offers on that property. He uses a company called Zudilio. And Zudilio is available to anybody in this room for $800 a year. I know me and Tammy Chancey used the bagools out of it in the office. And Zudilio, I can go in when I take a listing, and I can go to your home using the exact same system that they have. I can put your address, upload some pictures, and those same hedge funds that are they're giving him the offer are the same exact buyers that are going to make the offer in yours. The difference is I'm also going to stack up next to you what my retail number is, and I'm going to show you the net numbers once again that you're going to net more money with me by listing with me than you will by selling. And these are the people that make cash offers on my own listings. And the only reason why I pay them a huge yearly fee, which is only $800, but I pay them this huge yearly fee like he does to be a participant, is so that I can show you how much more money I'm going to net you by listing your home with me. Tampa Bay, y'all think of something, fire it out, man. Daniel, oh, now I'm scared. Dang it. Go ahead.
My friend or my family member is a real estate agent. So if I do decide to list it, I'm going to list it with them.
Well, you know what? That's a great objection, of course, from the man himself. But I would say, you know, a lot of times, I mean, in the past, Daniel, I mean, you've probably done business with friends and family before in the past. And I think that it really can jeopardize, because this is such a personal thing when you're selling your home. Like, I mean, are you really comfortable, like, showing your finances and how much money you make and what your assets, your credit score? Are you really comfortable sharing that with a family member and then having them have all that information to maybe gossip around the Thanksgiving table? I mean, that's something to consider. And then also, Daniel, if I mean, I'm great and I appreciate the loyalty, but if we sat down and I could show you my marketing plan and you were convinced that I could sell your home for more money than them and you would net more money in your pocket by listing with me than with them, would you consider me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, you know, I'm not, I mean, because if I'm kicking a dead horse and you're like dead set, I'm really tight with my brother and he already knows my financial situation and all that, it's time to move on. Because there comes a point, there's so many objections you can have, but there is something for everything. One of the things I like to use in that situation is sharing the personal finances with another family member.
Or what if they're doing a poor job? How do you fire a friend or a family member?
Well, I will tell you right now, I've been doing this 31 years. I've never handled a transaction for my brother. I've never handled a transaction for my sister. I've never handled a transaction for my mother. My father's never sold a home. I don't deal with my family. As a matter of fact, Tanya does. Tanya was an agent that handles a lot of my family, my cousins and everything. But this was before I hired her. So I kind of indirectly, they're still going through her, but she works for me. So I kind of indirectly. But I will tell you, if you think that that's like, you know, a whoop-de-doo, my sister, Mary Kelly, my sister lived in Colbert Isles. She's bought, all her properties are in the millions of dollars. And I mean, Mary Kelly has made hundreds of thousands of dollars off my sister and her real estate transactions over the years. I've never participated in any of it. And you know what? Happy that I didn't. Because you know what? Then I got to do it for free. Then I have to do something, and then their leaky roof is my fault. I'm a horrible realtor because their roof is leaking, and they had to do a $500 repair that not only was I doing it for free, but my contractor had to make the repair for them for free. So that, you know what, that's a nightmare situation is what you're getting ready to go into. So listen, let me keep your information, Daniel, because after you do the transaction with your cousin, I want to stay in touch with you and know where you moved to, because I'm sure that the next time you sell that you're going to be calling me, and I want to stay in touch with you.
How about showing me the numbers?
Show you the numbers. I do a net sheet, and what I do is I take the National Association of Realtors is showing the numbers of what the people actually sell for on an average, which is about, what did I say, 16, 17, 18%. And I take their number, I do a net sheet for them, minus 18%, which is what the national average is. Then I show them my net sheet based on what I want to list the property for, and I show the net difference at the bottom, which is probably going to be about 10% more just on arms to arms length. And then I go back to the marketing again about my marketing. And you know, this listing presentation that we have and some of the things that we do have, I don't believe we really understand them. I think a lot of us get these boxes, and you get this box and you take a listing and you're so excited that you upload the 3 pictures. You're forgetting to go into here. There's a website that's attached to this. When you have, I didn't bring the rider that goes on the sign, we're not demonstrating that to the consumer. When there's a buy owner there, I would say, listen, here's the rider that comes in my box. Text this number, text that code right there. They're going to text it. Our websites have all the information from MLS. I've uploaded 100 extra pictures that my photographer gave me. I embed the video that I have on YouTube of the property. So if you have a video and you do video of your property, if not, walk through with your cell phone and do a self-tour through the house and upload it to YouTube and put that in. Do a real type of a presentation. Embed that in. Robert just fixed that because I was complaining about it, that used to work, and he just fixed all that. So now you have the, demonstrate that to the buy owner and show them this is the type of technology that I have, because when they text it, they get that website on their phone. And if you've built out your website the right way, which takes a total of about 3 minutes, and you've built that because it's just copy and paste from MLS, and now you show them, look what just came across my phone. I just got your phone number that just said, this person just texted for information. Did you get the website? Yeah. Now I'm going to call you and say, hey, I'm Vincent Arcuri with LPT Realty. I see that you just requested information on this home. Do you have that? You have a for sale by owner sign with a phone number. And 80% of the people today, they don't even want to speak to anybody. They want a texting info. They want a texting. They want some sort of a code, because they don't want to speak to anybody. It's my job to get them to speak to me so that I can find out where they are and pre-qualify them and get you into their home.
Can you just run through those numbers again a little bit slower, like how you're going to show them how you're going to net them more?
The average buy owner sells their home from a national statistic of about 30 years for about 18% less. And that's because they're overpriced. The people they probably spoke to real estate agents. They have an unrealistic price. They don't understand how to price their home. They're just going off of neighborhood rumors, if you will. So just taking that if you charged 8% commission as an example, which there's a notation in all of your books that just compliance and for violations, we're all free. There is no fixed real estate commissions. We're all free to charge whatever. Even that guy, 2%. So you run your numbers with your commission and your broker fee put into it, and you run their numbers on a buy owner without that, minus the 18%, because they're not doing any of the marketing. I mean, I'm going to show you right here like how I'm going to market your home, and if you feel like after looking at my marketing presentation on how I'm going to market your home, if you still feel like you're going to net more money than what I can bring to you, then more power to you.
What are you taking the 18% from, though? Are you taking it from what?
That is the national average, over 30 years average, when the National Association of Realtors.
What price are you taking that from? Like, when you're saying?
Let's say that the house is a $500,000 house, and I'm going to say you're going to list it at $500,000. I'm going to list it at $500,000. The National Association of Realtors says because of your crappy marketing that you don't have, and that you're not doing anything but sticking a sign in your front yard, you don't have access to MLS, you don't have to any of this technology, there's no digital ads going out, you are going to sell that house for 18% less. You're going to sell it closer to $400,000 than to $500,000. I am going to sell it for $500,000, and my marketing might create a bidding war to you create wealth even over that amount.
Right. Well, if they say, okay, well, I plan on listing my house for $700,000.
Well, then keep my phone number, because you know what, and I'm going to get into that in a minute on pricing. That's going to be on pricing on another section that we're going to get into over here. But on pricing, it's like it's not mine. What I would tell them if they were going to price it at $700,000, I would say, well, Melissa, let me ask you this: if you were sick and you went to a doctor, and the doctor said that your heart is plugged up and you need triple bypass surgery. It's my job as a doctor to tell you that you need triple bypass surgery or you're going to die. And if you know anybody that's had triple bypass surgery, it's a serious life-threatening condition. Okay. There's real estate agents out there that will tell you in a parallel situation that, oh yeah, I'll take it at $700,000. That's the doctor saying, don't worry about this. You don't need triple bypass. You're going to live another 25 years. Keep eating all the garbage that you're eating and you're going to live forever. The reason why is most real estate agents don't have any listings because they're not successful. So they're dealing with a really small margin. So they're willing to tell you anything to get the listing. Can I explain to you how real estate agents make a fortune off of overpriced listings?
Yeah.
They put an open house sign in the front. They market the listing just like they would anything else. And they get calls. They get people driving by. They get people to text that code. They get people to scan the graphs and they get they're gathering data. And they're going to sell houses to those buyers. They're just not going to sell your house. So your house is the bait. So you're sitting up there going, meanwhile, this agent's having closing after closing after closing because they need listings to draw the buyers in so they could sell them a house, just not yours. And it's the biggest bait and switch scam that's been going on in real estate since they had the very first real estate agent. So I'd rather be honest with you today and give you a realistic expectation of your home value than to waste a bunch of your time and my time, because for me, I'm looking, this is a business for me, and if I can't sell your home for the price that I think it's worth, I'm not going to put my money, time, effort into marketing your home just to end up with a flat tire down the road. So I think that knowing the facts and being confident, and confidence is something that, which is why we do so much of this training, confidence is they sense it. Ellie and I had a listing appointment this week in Carewood. The guy's listed with another agent, and you know, it's not always a success story. The guy, my attorney, said, hey, call Vince. We went to see the guy. He's listed with another agent on Reclanata. I wish I knew the address because I can flat out tell you what's going to happen. It's listed with an agent. He bought the house to flip the house. Now the house, he gave the listing to the agent who found the house for him because he found him the deal to flip. So the guy renovates the whole house. He has the house up for sale. It's 2,100 square feet, and it's listed at $679. I walked in, and I thought, well, I know why this house hasn't sold, because it's too much money. So the next day, we went back. I'm sitting there with him going over. I said, well, you're listed at $679. I want to list it at $639. He said, stop. I'm a civil engineer. I market. I read numbers all the time, and I calculated the numbers, and that is a loss for me. And I said, well, as a person who deals with investors and we buy and flip homes ourselves and got experience in that, you make your money when you buy the house. And you paid too much for this, and then you rewarded that bad decision by giving the guy the listing. And he goes, well, I'm taking a loss. Second of all, if your margins are that slim, again, I said, but let me paint a scenario for you, because the listing's expiring in 3 or 4 days. I said, I don't want the listing if you're going to list it over 6.4, because this is where it's ultimately going to sell for. And I can watch it, and that's exactly what's going to happen. You didn't do the windows in the house. So that's $30,000. So now you want $700,000 for a 2,100 square foot house in Old Carewood, which is a great location, with no garage. It's just got a 2-car carport, so there's no garage. And I'm looking at $700,000. I can go right down the street to Cheval, and I can buy a 4-bedroom, 3-bath pool home in a much better school district than your home that's been equally renovated for around $700,000. What do you think I'm going to buy? So realistically, you have to know the inventory also. And if you're, I was very confident with him. He goes, wow, you seem pretty confident about it, because I know that that's what your house is going to sell for. You know, and the interest rates right now, they're all over the place. They're up, they're down, they're coming down, they're going up. We have all this information. Buyers are like they're afraid to overpay for something. It's something to overpay for something when the interest rates are 2.8% and they're giving away free. The house behind my dad's, I tried to buy that house. The guy was trying to sell it to me for, he knew that my dad lived behind him. And I was trying to buy that house for $400,000 overpriced. I mean, that house was worth $300,000. I was going to pay $400,000 because the interest rates were 2.9% back then. So then he wouldn't sell it to me. He had a tenant in there. I said, I want it with the tenant. I'll let the tenant ride out the, nope, wouldn't sell it to me because he wanted to make that extra money. Then the interest rate changed. The tenant left. He can't sell the house. He calls me up. I'll sell it to you for $380,000. Sell it to you for now I won't pay $300,000 for it now because I'm not willing to, exactly, I'm not willing to overpay because my mortgage payment doubled. It's not a good deal anymore because the free money's not available. You have to really be on your game and know the interest rates. Know how to calculate a mortgage payment on your phone, which is very simple to do. I mean, just to get the basics to understand with a simple financial calculator. This is what we do for a living. And I think a lot of us don't really polish our skills enough to make a serious living at this, that we're literally, this is how we support our families, and we need to know what to say, when to say it, how to do an accurate market analysis. If you're working in an area and you don't have any business, but you know you do business in that area, study the comps, know what the average days on the market are. That's why I like coming into the office. I don't have any distractions. It's there. Well, I do have a lot of distractions, but far less distractions than if I was stayed home, trust me. And just to be able to review the market, what came up, what's pending, what went pending, what came off the market, what's expired, so you can target some of these expired listings. So what's the next? Like, I think we've beat the for sale by owner to death.
For sale by owner for a minute. Do you ever have success trying to flip the script on them when they want to overprice? You know, they say they want to list for 700, and I would say, well, Mr. Seller, you got to buy a house, right? When you sell this one, right? Well, yeah. Well, if you walk into a neighborhood and there's 2,500 square foot houses, they're up to date, and they're selling for 500,000. And then there's one at the end of the street that it's up to date, but it needs a new roof, and that one's listed for 700,000. Are you going to offer that man 700,000?
Well, I'm not, Rose, but you know what? My house, my grandfather put these hand-built cabinets up here, and he built them by hand, and these are solid oak cabinets over there. And that house that you're talking about, I know that guy. He's got Formica, and he's got vinyl flooring, and I've got real hardwood floors in this, and my grandpa spent 6 months right before he died building out this kitchen for me. So you can't compare that house to mine.
Will the appraisal feel that way?
Well, you know what, that reminds, you don't want to give objections like that, because I'll tell you a quick story, and we're going to move on to the next objection tier. I had a guy one time that I went to list his house, and I was going through the house, and I gave him the price, I gave him the market analysis, and he said, I'm not selling my house for that. He said, that's like $100,000 under what my home is worth. And I said, so one of those comments like that, what would the appraisal? I said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the second story. I missed that. And he said, get out of my house. Right now, get your stuff and get out of my house, because I was a smart aleck, and you can't be a smart aleck. You can't say, what would the appraiser think? I would say, like, maybe, well, you know, the appraiser's going to come out here, and they're going to look at those comps, and they may not feel that way about your grandfather's, and I appreciate the fact that your grandfather put those up, because my grandfather did his kitchen in his house, and it's still original. But, you know, I'm not selling the house right now. If I was selling it, unfortunately, I would have to rip that out, because the mainstream buyer is looking at white cabinets, and they're looking, white seems to be the trend. And in order to get, a lot of these houses, they've been renovated, but 10 years ago. So they'll go in and they'll go, we just sold the one in Cheval. Like, it was beautiful. The kitchen's all been, since we sold the house to them 20-something years ago, they gutted the house and they renovated it. It's beautiful. If it was 10 years ago, it was beautiful. But it looks nice, but it's not white. The cabinets aren't white. He's not going to get 1.1 for it. He got 900 for it. You know, if it was renovated, he would have put 100 grand in it. He probably would have got 1.1 for it. So you have to be careful how you answer them, because you want to do it in a caring, sophisticated way where you're not insulting them, because you're going to distance yourself from them, as I've had to learn the hard way, and I'm trying to pass that on to you guys.
So I just want to make sure, because you're talking about somebody who's ready to list, but if it's a FSBO, it's kind of like on the market, like, but, and they have it listed like at 500.
But they'll do what they'll do is.
But they're saying they would list it with an agent at 700. Is that what?
No, I've overpriced my house. I think my house is worth 700.
Oh, you think it's worth?
And then,
$700.
well, where did you get that? Where'd you get that number from, Rose? And tell me where the numbers comes from. Zillow. Oh, the number came from Zillow. So Zillow says, well, you know, Zillow was buying houses. They were in the iBuy business, and they failed miserably, and their stockholders pressured them to cease the program because their estimates were so far off that the company was losing billions of dollars, and it was crashing their stock. If you could Google that, and you could look that up, that's the fact of record, that they, in a very short period of time, whereas these other iBuyer programs have continued to flourish, Zillow crashed and burned because their own algorithms are so inaccurate. It's kind of an inside joke in the real estate industry when people mention Zillow. Boom. So when I'm listing the home, I put Zillow in a positive light because of our LPT Shield program and our relationship with Zillow. But when I'm trying to get the listing, I take the opposite approach. What's the next page? What do we got?
Expires.
Expireds? Okay.
My home was listed, why didn't you show it then?
Oh, great question. He said, my home was listed and it just came off the market. Why didn't you show it when it was listed? Well, Jeff, that's a great question. You know, we have a pretty big office, and a lot of the people in our office show properties. They're not even in the MLS sometimes. And we just hear people say, hey, I just listed this home. And so a lot of the times it is an internal sale within our office. It's your agent's job to notify top real estate agents in the area that your home was for sale. Your agent never told me that your home was for sale. As a matter of fact, I have a card that I send specifically to real estate agents. It looks like this. And I send this card announcing my new listing to any real estate agent that has sold a house in this neighborhood in the last 2 years. And I make sure that they know that your home is available, and that's the first thing your agent should have done, and they didn't. And unfortunately, the first time that I ever saw any information about your home was what we call on the hot sheet this morning, which is why I'm here, that your listing expired. That's why I didn't show it, because I didn't know it was for sale.
How much experience do you have selling homes in this area at this price range? So you're working with, expired listing that's in, over $1 million, and like, I don't have any experience selling $1 million listings, but I know that I can.
That's a good question. Now you're going to transition into the team part of it over here. Now, we're all with who's like in and I don't know who's from who's in our downline that's here. That's like, okay. So we're all a team. We have the name that we have for our downline is called the Empire Group, Tampa Bay Empire. Well, I'm a member of the Tampa Bay Empire Group. And I've sold houses to the biggest stars in Hollywood, to NFL players, coaches, even owners of NFL franchises, Major League Baseball players, National Hockey League players, half the WWE. So to say that that this is not in my wheelhouse, this is where my clients are. This is definitely in my wheelhouse. Now, the other agent that we interviewed just said, oh, well, they didn't, I looked up her numbers. And I thought, well, I mean, you could look up our numbers. I mean, half the time me and Ellie give our deals away and we just get a referral fee on it. So we are a team, and our team numbers don't always reflect because agents are so obsessed with their little statistics in MLS, and that's more of a broker metrics recruiting thing. If you're a consumer, the reason why people keep track of that is so that other brokers can recruit agents from other offices, which is inside the real estate industry. That's a big business. But as far as actual sales, I welcome you to come to our office and we can show you the list of people that we've sold to over the years. A lot of times we are the first because we've got relationship with sports agents, with general managers of these teams, and when these players are traded, we're usually the first call that they get. So I'd love to show you how that works, and nobody's going to dispute that with us because I have the testimonials from all the people that have used our team, including the owners of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So bam. So give me another one. Fire away on that. What do you?
Realtors calling you?
Yes, you know what, Tammy, I get that a lot. And of course, a lot of these agents that are calling you, they're just calling you randomly off of an expired list. I'm calling you because I've actually sold houses in this neighborhood. I like to call off of my farm. I'm a big advocate of farming because I know that when I do, the difference if you're farming a neighborhood is when a listing expires, like in Crystal Lakes Manors or in Windermere or in certain areas of Lutz, when I knock on the door, they usually go, oh, hey, Vince, because they've been getting my mailers in there since they've moved in there. And I'm like, yes, should have called me first and I wouldn't be here, and it's a joke. It's always kind of like a little joke. If they're familiar with you in marketing, and you're doing any direct mail in the area, that's a mistake that people make is that they do. And I heard some people say, I want to farm an area. Well, in that farm, you have to be a hawk. When you're in that farm area and something expires or is withdrawn from MLS, there you are, because they know who you are. It's a huge advantage over any other agent that markets that area. They know who you are. And then they'll say, man, you look familiar to me. You look really familiar because you're sending them direct mail, and they're not thinking in that right now. They go, oh, you look so familiar to you. And I go, well, I don't want to tell you who I am because I owe you money. And they say, oh, you have to tell me who you are. I go, well, I spend a lot of time in your mailbox, so I probably owe you rent from living in your house so much. And then oh, my God, you're the real estate. It breaks it all. Now, instead of that mad that somebody's at their door, it's kind of a little bit of a humorous situation. You're asking them, look, if you don't mind, I mean, I can go into your home right now and you don't have to make a bed or clean the kitchen or anything. I could probably walk through the home right now and tell you why it didn't sell. Is that information valuable to you? I could walk through this house right now and tell you why it didn't sell. And I can walk through and go, this living room over here is complete, too much furniture in here. You have too much stuff on the walls. These walls are blue here. It's yellow here. It's white over here. You need to have this all painted agreeable gray. There's a little bit of an effort that goes into marketing these homes that I can net you more money and I can offset all these costs. As a matter of fact, I have a contractor that'll probably do the work and get paid at closing. Would that appeal to you? Is anybody else bringing that to you? No. They're not. They're not bringing that to you. So having all these weapons and knowing how to use them is going to get you in the door. I'm going to tell the quick story about the lady in Cheval on that exact story. I was trying to get I knew there was this house in Cheval because we're in there all the time. And there's this house at the end of Cheval Boulevard that was obvious. It looked like it was in foreclosure. And we were sending letters to her, registered letters. I was trying to get in because I said, I know that she knows who I am because of the amount of mail that we send out in there. So one day I was driving through there and there she is parked out front of the car. And I got out. I said, excuse me, are you the owner? She goes, oh, hey, Vince. Yes, I'm the owner. I'm getting ready to put the house on the market. This was my mom's house. I've kind of let it dilapidate here because it broke my heart to even come into the house because I grew up here as a teenager and I hate to see the house in this condition. Do you mind if I see it? So I walked through the house. Ellie's, what are you doing? Where are you at? I'm fishing. I'm fishing. So I walked through the house, and the lady says, she goes, I'm getting ready to, I said, can I ask you what you're going to list the house for? I'm going to list the house for $500,000, and I'm going to renovate the kitchen. I was like, renovate the kitchen? The whole place needs to be renovated. I mean, the frogs swimming in the pool, So I said, listen, do you have a mortgage on the, no, don't have a mortgage. I said, let my contractor come over here and look at this, and I can give you maybe a better, have you signed anything? No. So contractor goes out there, and what was like, we're going to renovate the whole house for $180,000. You don't have to pay anything until closing. By the way, it had a $100,000 homeowners association lien and an $80-something thousand lien from the county code enforcement from all the violations on the house. Okay, she was going to remodel that kitchen and net in her pocket, about $100,000. And by the way, I have the lady's phone number because sometimes people need to talk to somebody, you need a reference. So we had our contractor come in there, gutted the house. That kitchen that she was going to remodel, we knocked out the entire wall to open up that house, new roof, new pavers, remarsided the pool. It was when it was empty, it was literally concrete floors and wires coming out of the wall, ceiling scraped. And it looked like a home that was like half finished, like a new construction home is what it looked like. It was $180,000. Probably today it would probably be $250,000, but this was in 2000 when the interest rates were 2 point whatever. So anyway, I called code enforcement. We know the guy down at code enforcement. I said, hey, I need you to come look at this house as we were shaping it up. So if you didn't know and there's a code enforcement lien and you renovate and you clean up the house, they will settle for 1/3 of the amount. So it was like, basically it was $20-something thousand. I had the president of the HOA come out, look at the house. He waived the entire $100,000 thing. And as it's getting put back together, I'm having agents going, hey, would they take $800 for it? Would they take $900 for it? It's not going on the market for another month. Would they take $1 million for it? Would they take $1.1 million for it? She cleared at closing over $700,000 because of that program. Because now the agent that didn't know, that was kind of like flippantly going around life as a real estate agent, her advice was renovate this kitchen and net $100,000. But knowing your skills and having the skills, knowing what to say, having the people, having the contractors, knowing what to do is what's going to start to elevate you. How many people do you think this lady's telling about, oh my God, Vincent Elliott, I almost gave this house away, and I almost, that's life-changing money to some people. It's life-changing money. $100,000 to $600,000 extra dollars was life-changing for her. So being able to step in and see that and know what you can do and be able to give that type of advice is what's going to get you to, well, and I don't have to say, we're all free to charge whatever we want to charge, but because of the amount of oversight that job had to be, we charged 8.5% commission on that deal. And so we gave the other agent 2.5%. And we made like 80-something thousand commission on that, only having one side. So that is when I say you're flexible, and a lot of people want to say, this is which is against the law, but each deal is a little bit different. I mean, we charge more. And I said, am I out of line for charging you this? And she said, absolutely not. I said, look what you were going to net. And then look this was after, because I told her we were going to talk about this at the end. So I asked for that extra 2.5%, 3%.
Handled all the renovations.
Right.
But knowing the colors, do you know what colors are in? Do you know what, like when you see a wall and you go, oh, paint this white? Well, that's not, 2 years ago it was agreeable gray. That was the main, everybody wanted to paint agreeable gray. I don't know what it is now. Ellie, what is it?
I can tell you, I just did this yesterday.
So to know what these colors, and you see these houses that are like, that's the difference. And when you say like how are you going to,
Bastard white is what it's called.
okay.
Shasho white.
Well, how are you going to get me more money? Because I know this stuff. Because you don't know this stuff. You don't know that your walls are all painted 10 different colors. And when you walk in, I see 6 different floors on your housing, and the trend is 1 floor in the whole house right now. Sometimes it's just stripping up the floors and having the contractors. We all need, one thing that's so frustrating to me is I see real estate agents and I see them on social media and they go, oh, I need a roofer and I need a plumber, I need a painter, and I see this in these social, you are a real estate agent and you don't have these people and you're going on social media to look for your clients. I mean, if I was a client and I saw Gina Bufumo need a plumber, I would be, Gina, you're fired. You're a real estate agent and you don't have a plumber, so we ask us, come in and go, Vince, who's your contractor that does that renovation? Who's the plumber? Who are these people, so that you can have that level of expertise without throwing it out on social media, because it's an embarrassment. I'm embarrassed for a lot of real estate agents when I see what they ask for on social media. I think we're getting a little off topic here, but let's get back to the expire. Who is it? What do we got?
I'm working with a bunch of agents.
Yeah, working with a bunch of agents, I get that a lot. I think that it's important to interview, I have my 9 questions here. I think it's important to ask the agents, as you're working with all these agents. I have a book here, the 9 questions you should be asking every real estate agent. I want to give you my free copy right now, which answers my 9 questions. We all do it different. We all charge something different. We all have different marketing plans. Have you interviewed any of those agents? You have? Great. That's fantastic. And obviously, they haven't knocked your socks off to the point where you would list with them. I would love to show you my marketing plan. It would take about 30 minutes. What's a good time for me to come out and meet with you, today or tomorrow?
Today.
Morning or afternoon?
Afternoon.
4 o'clock or 6 o'clock?
4.
See you at 4 o'clock. Listing appointment.
Can you meet me for coffee instead?
I can, but I would like to see the house, if that's okay. I typically like to see the house before I can put a number, because I want to make sure that I'm accurate. And I know a lot of real estate agents, because this is exactly what happens. Real estate agents come out and they show up with a market analysis and they've never seen your home before. And I think that is the biggest disservice, and that just shows that, I really don't care, because I want to know, is your home renovated? I want to know the age of your roof. I want to know the condition of your home. I want to see if you've had 10 kids that have beat the walls to death. I mean, I need to really see it so I can evaluate not only the actual number, but remedies to help you get the highest and best price for the house. So it is important that I see the home. I'm happy to meet you for coffee, but before I can put a number and show you what I can do, I am going to need to see the house. So if it's convenient, I'll meet you at the house. If not, where would you like to meet for coffee?
I have another one.
Fire away.
Why would I need to deal with you when I'm off the market and I have a ton of investors calling me?
That's a great question, because I get that every day at my house. I have people calling me saying, a funny story, I'm always at my dad's, and my dad is this crotchety 86-year-old man, and I love it. The phone rings, and I hear it coming, and he answers, and he goes, hello, and yes, this is him. Oh, are you calling on the for sale sign that's in front of my house? No. Oh, yeah, because the house isn't for sale. I hear that. That's my dad. I hear that. He gets calls over there all the time when I'm there. But to get back to the question is, yes, I'm sure you get phone calls all the time. You probably see billboards, you see television, radio advertisement, offer pad, open door. Everybody wants to buy your home in a hot market like this, but they all want to buy it wholesale. By listing with me, I'm going to put that additional profit that they're trying to make off of you, I'm going to put it in your pocket. And that's a win-win situation because I'm going to market the home effectively. This is what I've been doing for a living for X amount of years, and I can net you more money. A lot of these investors that are trying to buy, they want to buy your home wholesale so that they can renovate it and flip it. That's where that renovation contractor comes into play, is I could maybe do some renovations here on the property and get it tightened up. We're doing one right now in Plain City that I have to get you out there to take a look at it. We went in and the guy's got a sex room. He's got a sex dungeon. So I go out and looked at the house. The guy moved to Costa Rica and he goes, "Hey, what do you think of me?" And Ellie went and looked at the house and
Charles, it was not a Christian phrase, sex.
it was like I went in and I was like, "Whoa." And so he goes, "What should I do with that?" I'm like, "Well, you got
Burn it.
We've got two options. We can clean it up, paint it, and get all that stuff out of there and stage the house so we can get top dollar for it. Or I can take pictures of it and put it on the internet, and every real estate agent in America is going to share it, and I'm going to get a ton of likes on my social media. It's up to you. What do you want to do? Which route would you like to go? I'd like to sell the house, So there's a crew. It's all ripped out already. We went yesterday, and they're already doing the process. But that's why you want to see the house. And you want to go in there. But I lost my train of thought. What was the question?
That was 50 Shades of Grey.
So the investors want to buy the home with the sex room in it because it's going to push the price down for them. And I'm trying to get you to selling to an investor is convenient. And I have investors that will make a cash offer on your home within 24 hours. I could have 3 or 4 cash offers for you. Net money to you. You're going to get a lot more money in your bank account by listing with me. But I can present those offers to you. If you want to let me come in and take some pictures, I'll submit them to those hedge funds today, and I'll come back tomorrow with offers. Play on their level playing. I try to take that away from the hedge funds. I try to take that away from OfferPad and Open Door and Mr. 2% and all these.
In that case, let's say you had 3 back for the sake of our conversation.
Right.
So they're at 3, 3, 5, and 310, right?
Okay.
So, but these are investors.
Right.
They're going to just come in, fix whatever, and flip it, right?
Right.
So you're going to give me those 3 offers.
Yes.
At that time, are you also going to talk to me about, if you don't want that, we can do this and you can net more money?
Side by side by side.
Okay.
I'm going to lay out the offers to you, show you your net, and if you decide to take one of those cash offers, we can move right in that direction and immediately they can close in as little as 5 days.
Okay, thank you.
What's a good time for you to meet with me today or tomorrow?
30 minutes.
What else? What are you afraid of? What else? Like what's a lot of the objection handling too. We're talking about for sale by owners, and and I do want to shift because.
Red flags?
Pardon me?
Red flags.
Such as?
You go to a home.
Right.
All right. So you're in it. You're doing the 5-minute walk around, and I don't know. You don't feel right, or there's something. Now, see, the sex room might have turned me off.
Right.
And walked away. I might have called, "Hey, Vince, Tony, come here." But, is that your red flags of I'm not going to take this listing?
It depends on their willingness to change, or willingness to accept. If you accept the cash offer, we still get paid, by the way. So if anybody wants to submit a cash offer or whatever, I'll just get with me after because I want to train you how to do it as opposed to you calling me and having me submit it. So that's one thing. And I'm very selective because a lot of my farming includes that site. So there's certain people that come into that site. I would only ask that you follow your own personal deal that you're putting in this system and don't steal any of my leads. I'm the one paying for the whole program. So, but if their willingness to make the changes, to take your suggestions, because sometimes you go in and it's just like we've got one in that we're getting ready to take right now. The lady passed away. I had the contractor come out. He gave me a number. I ran the numbers, and you know what? It's going to be about $40,000. If they renovate it, they're still going to be $40,000 upside down. So I told them to get everything out of the house, clean it as best as possible, and we're going to put that house on the market and try to sell it to an investor or a builder who might bulldoze the house over. Know those options. know what options that you have, because if the other agent's just telling them to, stage it and put it up, I tell them, look, these are the builder may want to bulldoze this house over because 2 doors down, they're building $1 million homes, and this is an old, may not be worth it to renovate it. You know, you could renovate it, but this is what I think those numbers are going to be. To me, the best bet, if it was my house, what I would do is I would just clean it up best that I can and put it for sale and see where the offers come in at. Sometimes that's the best advice. So to be able to give them options instead of giving them one option, you know, so, but I want to shift gears here real quick, because I think most of us do not run into these. A lot of us don't call buy owners. A lot of us don't deal with expired listings. We deal with everyday objections while we're on the listing appointment. People don't want to pay you a commission. They don't want to list at the price that you suggest. They want, so you're already there. I want to focus a little bit of time when you're already there. You're working with a buyer, and now you're $5,000 apart, and the seller says, I'm not coming down another penny, and the buyer says, I'm not coming up another penny on the sale. And then, of course, they start looking at the real estate agents and saying, Ellie, you know, why don't you cut $2,500 off your commission, and the other agent cuts $2,500 off their commission, and we've got a deal. How easy is that? I don't want to give them $2,500 of my money. I work too hard for it. I don't want to give that up. You know, we do occasionally throw in a home warranty. Yesterday, last night, we had a home warranty snuck in. I didn't catch it. I'm going to eat a home warranty. Hate it. But we end up inadvertently giving away enough without giving it away intentionally. So I want to focus on the objections that we get on listing presentations and with buyers. When we're with buyers, broker fees and whatever. Once again, disclaimer, we're all free to charge whatever we want to charge. I suggest you go as high as possible. So anything that anybody been on a listing presentation and somebody's given you an objection, because the reason why I left a lot of this, I know the objections that I get. I get the objections and go, hey, Vince, we talked to the other agent, Scott. He does a ton of business in this neighborhood. Because when you go to Keller Williams and you go to these trainers, this is what they tell you to say. They say, the other agent's going to charge 4%. And they basically say, oh, well, the other agent sucks and they don't sell any real estate, and I'm a successful real estate agent. And that's malarkey, because some of the top real estate agents that I see in Tampa are offering discount fees. And the scenario that I run into is in one of my farm areas, the guy sells more real estate than I do in the neighborhood. He sells, I think, probably 5 to 1 in there. And every time that this person's going against us, the first thing out of his mouth is, I'm going to do it at 4%. So now I got somebody that says, hey, Vince, you know, we interviewed you and we interviewed them. You know, we like you and Ellie a little bit better. We'd like to go with you, but his fee's 4%. You're trying to charge me 6%, for example. And so if you could reduce your commission to 4%, we'll go ahead and sign the listing agreement tonight. I can't say the guy doesn't sell real estate. Can't say he's not selling in that neighborhood. Can't say he doesn't have experience. He's been selling real estate for over 30 years. Can't say any of that. Okay, that's not in the books. And the books where they say, oh, draw a little circle, and then say, I give this half to the other agent, and then I pay the IRS this money, and then I give my broker this money, and then I spend this, and I'm only making this much money on the property. Because, well, how in the world has this other guy been doing business for 30 years, and he's doing it? That's the objections that you get in the real world. So the objections in the real world are, you know, we're all free to charge whatever we want to charge. There's multiple ways to handle that objection. One of them is I can say, well, Gina, do you mind telling me who the other, I don't mind you telling the other agent you interviewed me and sharing any of this information with them, but do you mind telling me who the agent is? The guy's name is Fred.
His name is Fred.
Fred. Okay, well, let me ask you, are you related to Fred? Like, are you close personal friends with Fred?
No.
So Fred came in at arm's length, just like me. He gave you a listing presentation just like me, and his fee's 4%.
Yes.
Well, I guess we all know what our value is and what we put in, because we all charge something different. But I know what my marketing plan looks like and how I structure my expenditures that go into marketing your property. I would say this, first of all, if and I consider that personally a discount commission. So they're giving you a discount. So I would say if you're going to hire a real estate agent, to represent you in the sale of your home. Is this your biggest asset? I mean, is your home, is this, you have most of your equity? Most
Oh, yeah.
Americans, their equity is tied up in their home.
Yeah.
So you're going to hire somebody to negotiate for you to get the highest and best price. And this person basically gave away a minimum of 1/3 of what the industry standard is, walking in the door, not being a relative, just having met you, and they're willing to cut their fees down to a bare minimum. And that's the person that you're going to hire to negotiate for you to get the highest and best use. Does that really make sense to you?
Well, it makes sense because I'm saving money.
You think that you're saving money, but when you really look at the marketing, because I think the difference between them and me is the marketing. I want to go through my market. Did you get a chance to review my marketing book that I left?
Not yet.
Okay, well, I'm going to go through this with you now and show you how I market the property, because I could eliminate all the marketing and I could reduce the fee at that point. I think I'm doing a disservice to you, because the net money that you're going to get at closing by me being able to market your home the level that I'm doing it is going to be, I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised. I always ask my sellers to let's focus on the dollars and not focus on the pennies, because a lot of agents that are they're intimidated by other agents. They really don't have a marketing plan. They will typically come in and that's their thing. They're going to go with a higher price and they're going to go with a lower commission. And 6 months from now, you're going to be calling me up and going, Vince, I should have listened to you, because I know what it takes to get homes sold. You're asking me to drive from Tampa to Tallahassee. I need a full tank of gas to get there. And when you're giving me a half a tank, halfway there, I'm going to call it side of the road and say, hey, I need more money. Agents are complaining that they're not getting enough compensation. The feedback is this, the feedback is that. I've been doing this a long time too, and I know what it takes, and this marketing that I have is going to get more eyes on your property. And when first thing that real estate agents cut out when they're doing discounts is their marketing. So in essence, their net money to them is equal. The difference is I'm spending money on marketing. I'm having professional photography. I'm having professional videos made. I'm having all these mailers sent out. I have professional flyers on the home. I have neighborhood reports. I'm notifying all the real estate agents that have sold a home in this neighborhood. I'm mailing out to your neighbors per everything that I have in this box. I'm doing a digital ad, and I'm actually digitally enhancing the marketing with that. That's not in their budget at 4%. That is not in their budget, because they're having to give 2 to 2.5%, and I would suggest 2.5% to the other agent in this market. So you're really dealing with a 1.5% margin. Now I go to the circle and go, now there's a 1.5% that they're getting. You know what? They're going to have to give their brokerage this much of it. They're making $500 on how much marketing do you think they're going to put into your house?
Right.
What else? What else you got?
Boom.
What else you got? I mean, come on, you go on these listing appointments and
If I list with you and I buy from you, will you discount your fee?
she said, if I buy a house, I'm going to list my house with you, and I'm going to buy another house from you, and will you discount your commission since I'm buying 2 houses from you? Rose, no. I'm not going to do that, and I think what it does is it sets a bad precedent when I'm on a listing presentation with you, and the first thing that I'm doing is I'm negotiating my commission with you. Any agent that allows you to negotiate their commissions, you should run from them, because you're asking me to negotiate the sale of your home and then negotiate the sale of another deal, which is not even coming out of your pocket, because the other brokerage, the other seller is going to pay my fee on that. And a lot of times those fees are discounted already. So by me taking a haircut right now, no pun intended, by me taking a haircut right now, and then ultimately the house that you decide that you want to buy, they're only offering 1% in the MLS, and now I've already agreed to this with you. You're going to want me to honor that, so I don't know what's in the future. So why don't we do this? Let's start with that full tank of gas. Fill my car up with gas. I mean, obviously, if you're not happy with the transaction, you're not going to sign the contracts, and you're not going to sign the contract of your new home. And let's talk about it in the future based on where the facts actually lead us to. Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay. Come on, give me something.
Vince, do you put people under listing contracts, or is it just a handshake?
I put absolutely a listing contract. Everybody in here, residential real estate, we have to have a listing contract and all the paperwork filled out. So there was one objection that I was just thinking of right now that I know we've all heard, and I'm trying to think of it right now. Dang it. It's gonna.
Explaining insurance regulations.
Well, I have that in there because I think a lot of times when you're on a listing presentation, if you can show your skill set and what you know, people are automatically going to respect you if you hold the line on your fees and your pricing and your days on the market. And I always explain to them what's happening in the insurance industry right now. Do we know what's happening in the insurance industry right now? Because a lot of us, we're professional real estate agents, and we don't know what's happening in there. And this, let me paint a picture for you. You go on a listing appointment, and the guy owns a State Farm insurance agency. And now you're on a listing presentation at his house, and you don't know anything about the insurance industry. You don't know what's happening. You don't know what's happening with people's homeowners insurance, what's happening in the special session in Tallahassee, and how this insurance regulation is negatively impacting the real estate market in Florida. So you have to take the time to really understand. People that it's talked about in the office, it's talked about at our meetings that we have. You need to really know that. We just recently did a deal in Carrollwood that the homeowner, it was a million, like a $900,000 deal, and the homeowner did not disclose that he made an insurance claim. He checked no on that he had never made an insurance claim on this house. The roof was 13 years old. So we sold the house, went through inspections, everything was fine, getting ready to close, and then we were up there at the LPT event in Miami. The agent calls me up and says, "This house is uninsurable." I said, "What do you mean it's uninsurable? Did you know that there was an insurance claim made on the house?" Well, here's how it triggers the insurance industry. And you have to explain this because I don't understand it. So how are they supposed to understand it? Mr. Seller, because you didn't disclose, "Oh, Vince, I forgot we had made that claim in the kit." Yeah, now you have to put a new roof on your house. It's like, what? Yeah, there's a little scorecard that they have, the insurance industries. And what the insurance company's afraid of is like that sticks to the house. When you've made a claim, it sticks to the house and it sticks to you. So now the insurance company knows when you buy your new house, these people that are over here getting new roofs for free, it ain't free. That's what's wrong with the real estate industry. That's what everybody got screwed for, all these unscrupulous roofers and these unscrupulous sellers who are playing ball and committing insurance fraud. Now it's impacted the whole real estate industry. Now the insurance company says, "Whoa, so this house now, there's one claim. Sure enough, they're going to make a claim on this roof and say that there's hail damage on the roof, and if we don't pay it, they're going to sue us." So you know what their solution is? Put a new roof on the house now. And guess what that seller did? He put a roof on that house. And we had to explain to him, like he was in the 3rd grade, about his little report card. And now his report card went here. This is why you have to put a roof. If I didn't know all that stuff, and to be honest with you, I didn't really know anything about it. Ellie kind of had to tell me about it, but that's why I keep her around. So Ellie explained it to him. But if I didn't know that, and that deal for the average real estate agent, he would have withdrawn the listing, buyer would have walked, he would have had to go with somebody else who did know how to fix it and did know about the insurance regulations, and he would have had a closing, probably sell it to the same buyer with a new roof on it if I didn't know how to explain it. So that's why I put that in there. Know your business. It isn't just selling a home and somebody signing it. If you think that that's what we do, I mean, that's like a really bad representation. We want to be the best representation that these sellers and buyers have. We want to know our stuff. We preach this all the time. Knowledge this is what we do for a living. So get as much information as you can. Learn how to handle these objections. What's next? Who's got something for me? Go.
My most recent listing was in my own neighborhood, so I knew the value. And the seller goes, "Well, my next door neighbor who just bought in the height of our market, where it was a bidding war and paid way over,
Right.
He's selling this spring." And he told me, "Your realtor's giving you a way too low price. Like,
Yeah.
you're getting another 200,000."
Yes, I understand that, and and you're the seller, so I'm going to say this like if I was talking to a seller. Yeah, that guy's an idiot. He's the idiot that came down here when the values of the house were $600,000, and here he's an idiot, and he came down here and said, "Oh, $600,000? There's a bidding war. I'll give you $700,000 in cash." That's the idiot that overpaid by $100,000, and now what he's trying to do is badmouth the people in the market because he's going to lose that money. You know what he's going to lose? That same house today, The house was for sale 2 years ago for $600,000, and this guy came in and he offered $700,000 for the house. He paid $100,000 over what the value of the house was. Well, you know what? Now 2 years later, the interest rates went from 3% to 6%, and now everybody's mortgage payments have doubled, the new buyers coming in. So that $600,000 house that was listed at $600,000 that sold for $700,000, now that $600,000 house is selling for $575,000, and the seller's putting a roof, and the seller's making all these repairs and sometimes paying part of the buyer's closing cost to buy down that interest rate. He created it. He created this nightmare by making these stupid bids, and now he wants to trash talk everybody in the neighborhood because he overpaid by so much he didn't think it was ever going to end. And what goes up comes down. I live in this neighborhood too. I want my house to be worth $1 million, you know, but unfortunately the facts that I'm looking at, and I do this for a living and he doesn't, because I would have never advised my buyer to overpay by $100,000. I would have told him to wait, especially if they were cash buyers, because just a couple of years later, look at the position he would be in. That $700,000 price point that he could buy that house for $575,000 today. So he was in such a rush to be such a show-off coming down from New York with all his equity that he got, that they were mowing over all the Tampa buyers. He's part of the problem. He's not part of the solution. So him telling people that you're underselling your house is preposterous because he has no evidence, he has no numbers to substantiate that. The only reason why he's saying that is because he overpaid by a six-figure number. And you know what they say about a fool and their money? He's getting ready to learn that lesson.
Would you show them the CMA?
Yeah, of course, you show him, but that neighbor, she's saying you have that neighbor saying, are you crazy?
In fact, he had it appraised for a refi like back in January, and what I gave him, he sold in 2 days with, there were multiple offers.
And you know, when you even if you underprice a home, you're going to get multiple offers. The market's going to, you can't take a $500,000 house and list it at $350,000 and leave it up for 7 days. That market is going to take care of itself. People recognize how low that house is, and the prices escalate. Ellie always likes to say, what doesn't come out in the rinse comes out in the wash. It's going to level itself out. The negative part, underpricing, if you're going to leave the house up for sale for 2 weekends and a week in the middle, it's going to take care of itself. Overpricing, you know the problems that's going to cause. What else we have?
One of my favorites.
So it says, I thought we were selling this as is. Why are you coming to me with these repairs?
Well, that goes back. That's not really an objection handling. That is when I'm signing the contract, 2 things. Mr. Selling Agent, they've come down $10,000. They paid $5,000 in closing costs for the buyer. They're not making any repairs on this house. So I'm going to flat out tell you right now, if you come back and tell me to repair a screen door, this seller's going to tell you to cancel the contract. That's one way of handling it.
Yeah, because it reopens the negotiation.
You're not going to renegotiate. He's saying yes, but he wants you to hold it as is, because when you come back and ask for repairs, he's going to change the price up to cover the cost of the repairs, since you're going to open up the new negotiations for the house, number one. The second way to handle it is when the contract is there in your hand and you're presenting to your seller and you go, hey, Mark, I know this property's as is, and I'm going to flat out tell you what's going to happen. There's going to be another round of negotiations here, because they're going to do a home inspection. And if you have anything significant wrong with the house, if you've got active termites, for example, or if you have a burner on your stove that's not working, they're buying it as is based on this seller disclosure statement that you're saying you're not aware of any defects in the house. Now they're going to send their Inspector Clouseau over here to see what they can find wrong with your home. And when they find something wrong with their home, they're probably going to give us a list of repairs. I just want to mentally prepare you for that, because I know the contract says as is, but we've got one other hurdle that we're going to go through, and I'm going to help you through that process when the time comes, and we're going to work through that. So I just want to make you so that you have a realistic expectation of what's next. Because the problem is we don't say anything to them. We go, it's as is. It's an as is contract, and it's as is, and just sign right here. Well, then, you know what? We didn't tell them about the inspection and what could happen, and now all of a sudden we got a seller that hates us because we didn't tell them this was going to happen. You're a crappy agent because you didn't prepare them, and you're not able to negotiate and make them hold to the as is. Explain to them, your house is in pretty good shape. I'm not anticipating anything, but if your hot water heater's 15 years old, they're probably going to ask for a new hot water heater because it's at the life of expectancy. So you have to kind of be aware of what's coming and prepare them for that. That way you're still the good guy.
Also, if a home is of a certain age and you need a 4-point.
Yes, you can
You
get
need
the
a clean
4-point.
4-point in order to get insurance.
Well, I always talk about getting a home inspection done before they put the home on the market. Don't get a home. You don't have to do the full-blown $800 home inspection. Just tell your home inspector, hey, I want you to come and on a notebook, on a spiral notebook, go through this and tell me what a home inspector is going to find, and then my seller will give you a couple $100 in cash or whatever you negotiate with him. So now you're able to go in, because this is part of your listing presentation is, hey, Jeff, you know, I know that my suggestion is my home inspector is going to come out here. Every home inspector is going to find something different, but the major things I want them to find ahead of time. The reason why I want to do that is when there's a flaw in the home, it might be something that you can fix yourself if you're pretty handy or you have a relative that can come and fix it. Once our house goes under contract, though, it has to be done by a licensed contractor. So let's try to knock out as many of these in advance as we can so that we can have a cleaner home inspection report, and that's going to really save you a bunch of money. Does that sound fair?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Do that based on looking at the house and the condition of the house.
Yes.
Get a gut feeling.
Yep, because you see this is a disaster. I can look at them and see, we got one we put under contract last night that looks to be like the most perfect house you've ever seen, and I think I've already seen something in there that's going to come up, and I'm just going to pray that it doesn't. But I think there's an issue on that, which I'll tell you about later. And it looks everything. But you want to get an inspection, and I probably should have had somebody come up, an engineer, look at that place before we put it on the market, because now we got some work to do, making that deal happen. But what else?
Temporarily take it off the market, have that engineer come in, fix it.
It's under contract, so it's, you know, we'll see. Maybe I could be wrong. I'm not an engineer, so I'm not an engineer. I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing. It could be something minor and stupid, but I'm not going to put that into the atmosphere. What else? Who's got another? Tell me. Go.
Oh, wait, are we still on inspections?
We're in wherever you want. What I'm trying to do is clear the air here. Let's purge it out, like stuff that makes you scared to go on a listing presentation. Because I think when you go on a listing presentation confident, people feel it. They feel that confidence, and you're able to answer any question that they have. It makes you more confident going in. So tell me your worst case scenario.
How about, I'm a woman.
Yes.
That's
You're a woman, and they don't want to list with you because you're a woman?
That's your superpower, Julia.
No, I'm telling you, there are people.
Well, first of all,
Whatever.
I don't know if you're going to overcome an objection from a jerk like that. You know what I mean? Somebody that's saying that. But wait, the industry is first of all, the industry is dominated by females. This residential real estate, the most powerful, the most influential real estate agents in the United States of America. I bet you that the average is a 58-year-old woman dominating the real estate industry. And I look in Tampa right now, and I think of like Mary Kelly, I think of Betty Kennedy, I think of like people that influenced me. They were all women. The most successful, Ellie Lambert, like all these people that have influenced me over the years. But you know, that just like, I mean, I really bounce things off of like, probably the people really that I bounce things off when I have an issue, and I feel like I'm kind of a know-it-all, but the people that I do when there is an issue, Mary Colgan, Ellie and Mary are the two people that I ask, hey, what, and they're women. So I would say to walk away from that. I mean, if somebody, I wouldn't even deal with that. I don't think anyone's going to say that.
I had it in the past.
Yeah.
Where, they didn't want to list with me because I wasn't with a well-known brokerage.
That's something that we're going to run into. That's a good one, because people are going to go, I've never heard of this LPT real estate company before. That's a good one. We're going to get that as we grow.
Fastest growing. I would say we're in the fastest
Well,
growing.
what I tell them is, do you watch TV? Do you listen to radio? Are you on anything? Do you know who Robert Palmer is? That's last week when I said, explain who Robert Palmer is. Have you seen the commercials on TV of the little bird, the Lawrence bird, the little homevalue.com? That's also our company. If you look at the bottom, I don't see Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Smith & Associates, Sotheby, Compass. I don't see any of these companies advertising on TV the way that our company's advertising on TV. And one of the big measuring sticks that you can do, and this is just an objection handling, one of the biggest things, since I botched this last week, I'm going to, since I botched it last week, I'll get it correct this time. Who was it that asked me the question about it's not a well-known? Well, one of the things in real estate, I think a lot of these larger companies, what they do is, and I want to explain a little something to you, Gina, about Zillow. Are you familiar with Zillow?
Sure.
You probably search the value of your home. That's the first place you go to Zillow. That's the average consumer does that. Zillow has what Zillow's business model is, and they're a brokerage just like I am. But Zillow's business model is they sell leads, you are a lead, to real estate agents. So hypothetically, if you list your home with me and say that I'm with Coldwell Banker, and now you list your home with me, I have all my pictures, all my beautiful pictures that Zillow just lifts from MLS and they put it on their website, and somebody says, wow, that house just hit the market and I love it, contact agent, and you click that.
Right.
Zillow has now sold your information to an agent that works in Spring Hill that bought leads of buyers that clicked that button in your neighborhood. I don't get that client.
So it's not going to
It doesn't
you.
go to me, it goes to the guy in Spring Hill.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
So that's a big billion-dollar business. Zillow is a billion-dollar business. But since you said my company was so small, do you know who is now the largest buyer of Zillow leads in the United States of America?
No?
It's Robert Palmer. Our company, LPT Realty, we spend $6 million a year.
Wow.
No, a year. $500,000 a month, $6 million a year, which is more than any other company in the United States of America, and we're predominantly in Florida. So what we have a program called LPT Shield, where if we have bought leads in this zip code, which we have, which we do, there's about a 75% chance that I'm going to get the lead on your house. So if you list with anybody else, these bigger companies, as you say, you're going to list with them, they're going to get the guy in Spring Hill, the guy in St. Pete, the guy that's his first deal ever that his dad's a doctor and he bought this inexperienced agent. Do you want these people handling your leads or do you want me?
I'd rather you.
Hey, so that the best chance of me handling your internet leads are listing with my company, and we're outspending everybody. So to me, that makes us the biggest.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay, so kind of bouncing off that, what my question was, and it might not pertain to anyone else, I'm a brand new agent,
Right.
And so I haven't had this objection on a listing presentation, but I've asked a lot of people in my sphere, like, hey, I know a lot of people, why haven't you sent me anyone? They're like, oh, you're too new, you're
Right, yeah, it's great. You know, I work on this team that I work on, and Molly Ann Ward is one of the most influential real estate agents in this area, and I work directly for her. So not only are you getting me, but you're getting Molly Anna, all her years of experience and her skill set to come with me. So I'm not doing this alone. I have a whole team. So I was really proud that they brought me on this team because they just don't let anybody on this team. They're bringing in a really high level of agents, and I'm just proud to be part of it. I'd love to be able to show you, and I'd love to come to your house and show you what I can do so you'll feel comfortable referring business to me. When's a good time for me to come out, today or tomorrow? Morning or afternoon? So that's always, you want to sell yourself and that confidence. If you're new, the more you learn. Somebody's new in our office that went and got their GRI. Who got their GRI in our office? Boom. Like the confidence level of knowing, the confidence level of getting the GRI and getting that knowledge under. I don't even have a GRI, you know, so you probably know more than I do. So what else? What else do we have? Go.
So if you list my house for 6%, but then you end up double-ending the deal,
Yes.
you take 4.5%?
There, boom. How about that? If I list your house at 6% and then you sell it yourself, will you take a discount? So ask me again.
If you list my house at 6% and you double in the deal, would you take a 4.5% commission?
Jeff, no. I mean, I can't. First of all, that's a company decision. I'm not the owner of the company. I'm just an agent that works for the company. But I think it sets a bad precedent for an agent to come in and start reducing their commission. And when you're hiring me to negotiate the best deal for your home, whether buying or selling, you want to know that you've got an expert negotiator handling your transaction. And the first thing that I do is cut my commission. I think that should tell you all you need to know about me. So, I mean, I would say respectfully no, but I know that I'm still going to get you the highest and best number. Can always do it later. You know, if there's two offers that are identical, and then there's you know, you've listed at 600 and yours is the other agent's at 601 and you're at 600, yeah, you might want to consider cutting a couple of thousand off of there to make your deal. That's just smart. But going in the door, I think walking in the door, starting to cut, because again, they're going to go buy something else, and then the other agents, they found the home on Zillow, and they go, oh my God, Rose, our house on Zillow, oh my God, exactly. And you look it up, and it's 1%. Now I've just given away all my money over here, and now you're going over here. No, can't do it. There's too many factors that go into it. There's too many moving pieces for me. That's just bad business, and I've been doing this a long time, and I would not be a good businessman and a good real estate agent if I set that precedent with my clients. They respect you for it. They just respect. And I want to say something about objection handling, too, about the women. So you said women. I want to say something about this, because this bothers me, because I know a lot of people that have been victimized by this, or you have men that make inappropriate comments to you as ladies, or they'll say something to you and I'm sure you've all had it happen where somebody makes an inappropriate remark, and you're walking into a house and they go, wow, you know, your ass looks great in those jeans. So somebody's going to get that. If you don't lay the law down right then and there, you got a big problem on your hand. And to lay the law, you want to talk about objection handling? I'll never have anybody say that to me, but if I was a woman and somebody said that to me, the first thing I would be like, I'm sorry, Jeff. Like, I'm walking in front, you say that, and I go, I'm sorry, Jeff. Did I do anything to give you the impression that that was okay? Because this is how I support my family, and I take my job really serious, and if that's what you're looking for, I think you've got the wrong realtor. So maybe we should hit the reset button, and you need to level with me. Are you looking for a home, or are you looking for something else? Because if you're looking for a home, we need to hit the reset button right here.
Make sure your puppy should be
dress appropriate.
Yeah, I will say that too. I am going to say that too. Last week I put the slide up on the last week. Your social media, they're going to look it up. If all your pictures are bikinis and working out at the gym and all that stuff, I mean, they're going to have an impression. You have to show them that you're a respectable, you know. So I'm just saying that's an objection handling, and I always mention that because I think there's a lot of that going on, and I think a lot of women don't say anything about it because you don't know what to say, because you feel like if I say something, then I'm going to lose this deal. Well, if you don't say something, you're going to lose the deal, because you tell me one time that's ever worked out for you. You know, it's gotten worse. You say that, and you don't say anything, and now it gets worse, and it gets progressively worse and worse and worse. So you have to be able to lay the law down and make them respect you, and that comes from the confidence again. Fire away, Rose.
I've always gone by the saying, what you allow will continue. So if you allow it that one time, they will keep doing it. If you allow them to call you at 2 in the morning, they will keep doing it. So it's not just for saying inappropriate things to you. It can apply to just inappropriate practices in general. So always nip it in the bud, ASAP. Say, give them the out. Say, we're going to hit the reset button so it doesn't just become that awkward situation.
Well, the two things are going to happen. They're going to say, oh, my God, Rose, I am so sorry. That was out of line. Please accept my apologies and let's move on. They're going to respect you. They're going to buy the house. If that's all they were looking for, they're going to cut bait and leave, and they just saved you a bunch of time. So, you know, just be aware of that and don't let that slide. And you can be respectful about it and go, hey, Ellie, go ahead. I know you cringed when I brought that up.
Well, yeah. So we see it a lot, because we have experience. So we get these newer agents, and they go, "Oh my God, I got this investor, and he wants to buy $1 billion property." We look at each other, and it's like
same thing.
It's the same story over and over, and that's the example he tries to use. Is here's all the questions we need to ask because we know that guy's not looking for $1 million property. I think ladies need to remember T&A means talents and abilities, and that's what you need to take when you're representing yourself in this industry.
You got a lot of guts saying that wearing them pants today, Ellie. I'm going to say this thing. I know we're getting close, so we got to wrap up. But
those are your appraisal pants.
He said those are her appraisal pants. But I'm going to say this because I know we're getting close. We need to wrap it up. So I want to have anybody fire something at me that they've in any category. But I do want to say that one time I had this house that I had listed. It was like $1.2 million. And this was like 15 years ago. And the two buyers were wanting to buy the home. One guy was financing, one guy was cash. Both of them were outside real estate agents. It was a Saturday night. And both offers came in. The cash offer was about $50,000 higher than the financing offer. And the agent wanted to go to my office and just with everybody. And so I'm looking at everything and kind of like taking it all in because I was with the second set of buyers with their agent. And they wanted to go directly because the guy was from St. Pete. He wanted to go right up the offer. So I'm kind of looking at them, and they were very much the odd couple. Very much the odd couple. She would look like Vogue magazine, and he looked like Beverly Hillbillies. And you listen, and they had their kids with them, so we went to the office, and I'm like, hey, they're sitting in there talking, getting ready. He's handwriting the contract. The guy's filling everything out. And so I'm with the kids. You want a Coke? You want water? You want anything? And so I'm getting the kids. I go, how long is, because I knew they weren't married. I said, how long has your mom been with Fred? And she goes, oh, like a few weeks. They've been dating a few weeks. Oh, okay. So I thought that didn't raise a red flag. Well, when the agent came out to talk to me, he put her name on the contract, and it was a cash deal. And I said to myself, no man in their right mind is going to have been dating a girl for less than a year and is going to put her name on this contract and make her, because basically if they break up 6 months later, she has $500,000, she owns half of this house. So I barge into the conference room there, and I'm like, hey, so let me ask a couple of questions over here. So you have you're a cash buyer, I need proof of funds. He goes, well, my lawyer has all my, well, who's your lawyer? You know what, I got his card in the hotel room. It's like, wait a minute, your lawyer has over $1 million of your money in his escrow account. And as I'm inquiring, he's telling this girl, we're going to get married, we're going to close, we're going to get married in this backyard. Well, what that told me is he hadn't closed the deal with her yet. So he was wasting everybody's time on a Saturday night to make this girl think that he was going to buy her this house so that he could close his other deal with her. And then there was going to be no money. Well, you know me, I called him right out. I said, you know what? I don't believe you. I've already called the seller, and we're going to accept the other offer. And I don't believe you because I don't believe that you just met this girl. I'm going to tell you why. And I laid it all out. This guy was like, you know what it was? It was like, do you know who I am? You have no idea who I am. I'm going to I'm going to sue you. Yeah, okay, buddy, there's the door. Head on out the door over there and take them kids with you. And about a week later, the guy calls me up and he goes, oh my God, I've been working with this guy for like 4 months. And I said, how did you not clock it? Has that girl been with him? I said, he's been playing you on this whole time like he's going to be, pretending that he's going to buy, and you don't know that's. And that's why when you're a lawyer and you don't even know the name. I mean, I can call my lawyer right now at 10 o'clock at night. He don't have 50 cents of my money in his bank account. You don't even know his name. You gave him $1.5 million or whatever, and you don't even know the guy's name. All right, who's got something that's afraid? You're afraid they're going to say something. Throw it out. Tell me give me something on the objection handling. I think the lesson here to be learned is that educate yourself. Practice these scripts. Learn these common objections. And I want to say there's a DVD that you can get, a CD, Floyd Wickman, 101 Dialogues. Every time I buy it and I find it on eBay, somebody takes it out of the office and never returns it. I'm sick of buying it. It's called 101 Dialogues by Floyd Wickman. 101 Dialogues by Floyd Wickman. You could find it on eBay from time to time for about $100, and it's worth every penny. And it's Floyd Wickman going through his listings with his buyers. I do want to get back to the buyer. One thing, because we haven't really touched on buyers, and we're here at Embrace Mortgage, and they did a great job. They're fantastic. They've got unbelievable programs. Grab their card, pre-qualification. Know the difference between being pre-qualified and pre-approved. Try to encourage your clients to get pre-approved. Educate them once again. Go ahead.
And then also, as Vince was saying, how the importance of a mortgage calculator and being able to calculate a payment. If you download our app onto your phone, Google or the Apple Store, you can download it and it has amazing calculators.
Perfect.
You can share that with all your clients, everybody, and they can do the same thing, and it'll also track it. It's a CRM for you. It'll also track it and let you know every time they open it and calculate something.
And I'm going to say, because we're going to get on the final, I want to talk about with a buyer. A lot of times I'll get with a buyer, when I used to work buyers. I would get with them and they would say, I mean, have we all been in that situation? We're $2,500 apart. Seller says, I'm not going down another penny. Buyer says, I'm not going down another penny. $2,500 apart. Hey, Ellie, why don't we just cut our commission $1,250 a piece, put this deal together, and be down the road? How many? Anybody ever done that? How about this? How about this, buyer? We're $2,500. What's the rate today? What ballpark it? 6.3. Okay, I'm going to do a 30-year amortization, 6.3% interest payment. I know it. Oh, it's $18. So $18, I'm going to divide the $18 divided by 4. So we're talking about $4.50 a week difference. Now you're going to tell me, Mr. Buyer, that you're going to go to your second choice for $4.50. You're going to go to your second choice, and your kids aren't going to have this big backyard. You're going to get a house with a little tiny backyard that they're not for $4.50. I mean, where do you work? I work at IBM. Do you buy a Coke out of a machine every day? Yeah, what is that? It's $1. You put $1 at your office over there. So bring a Coke from home. Buy a 6-pack at the grocery store and go and bring your Coke to work so your kids can have this backyard. What the hell's the matter with you? No. So your kids can have this backyard. And I try to break it down knowing these financial calculations. That's one of the things I try to tell everybody also is same thing with a net sheet, that we don't know how to do a net sheet on the fly with your seller. You need to learn. It's a very simple process. I teach it almost every training except today. But to go, because you should be able to be at IHOP, and on a napkin, you should be able to write out a net sheet and show a seller. If I sold my house for $722,500, what's my net? You should be able to have those simple calculations and be able to do their title insurance, their doc stamps, the broker fee, what the title company's charging to close, what your processing fees are. This is what it is. Tell me what your mortgage is, ballpark, on a napkin. And I've done it on a napkin, and I've had people sign on a napkin before, and that's in one of the files at the office is a net sheet on a napkin that I did for somebody at a diner. So know that how to do that. That's, again, part of our skill set. Practice it. Practice with other people. Practice the objection handling. I'm going to close with this. We go to the new spring training is getting ready to start. Did pitchers and catchers report this week?
Yeah, they did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, pitchers and catchers reported this week, okay? And then next week, Monday, the rest of the teams, everybody reports to spring training. They're not going to have a game for, 6 weeks? A real game. Yeah. A real regular season, 6 weeks away. These guys are right now, these pitchers are out there with the catchers all weekend long. Thousands of pitches, thousands of pitches. And they're out here practicing. And then the teams come and they're going, hey, during the season, if the bases are loaded and it's in extra innings, we got to protect that run from coming in. It's different because in the 5th inning, you might let that run come in for a double play, but in the you can't let that run score, the game's over. They have all these different scenarios and they're practicing it. Thousands and thousands. They're practicing it next week. And then in October in the World Series, that scenario comes up, and everybody on that team already knows because they practiced it so much in spring training in Florida that when it happens, they're ready for it and they're ready. And so you may not hear these objections for a year, but if you know them and you practice them, the confidence level that you have. I always say that me and Ellie are pulling up to a listing presentation, and we're literally going, if we can get out of here in less than an hour, we go to Frenchie's instead of sitting there going, oh my God, what if they ask about my commission, and what if that, now we go in, like, I know whatever they say, I know that we're going to be able to answer the question and tackle the objection, get them under contract, and we go out and have a nice dinner, and the next day we order the pictures and the video and all that stuff. So learn it, love it, make it part of your culture. Always go to the trainings that interest you and learn these dialogues, because it's going to make you a better, more confident agent, and that's going to make them want to list their home with you. Thank you. Don't forget to put your business card for the drawing. Don't forget to go forth and multiply. We're going to do a drawing right now for the Embrace Home gift basket.
This is our open house
This is
gift bag that goes in your trunk.
it's worth thousands of dollars.
Thousands, millions.
Rubbers,
Millions.
table topics, a little iPad holder.
Who's going to win? Who's feeling lucky? I'm going to bet Mary Colgan, because Mary wins everything. I'm not even looking. Look. If this, I'm going to be so mad if this is Mary. Rose. Don't forget to put your little booties on.
And you guys, you can just give me mine. Spring getting ready to start and raining, don't want tracks throughout their house, so those are little booties you have. If you want, we can get those by the 50s.
Yeah.
So other than that, thank you very much for coming out. This is thank you. This is very important.
Thank you. Listen, I want to tell a quick success story about recruiting. Go forth and multiply. But we have we had this week, Mark and I we get there at the crack of dawn because I dropped my granddaughter off early in the morning. Mark just wants to get out of his house. We get to the office at about 7:30 in the morning, and I did a post on social media about the Listing Power Tool box and what an effective tool it is to grow your business. This guy calls me like 5 minutes later, and he goes, hey, I'm Joe from Coldwell Banker right down the street. Yeah, what do you want to show? No, I want to talk to you. I just saw your post on LPT. I want to come talk to you. When do you want to talk to me? Right now. 5 minutes later, this guy walks in the office. I didn't tell everybody. Everybody wasn't here. Sorry. I'm going to tell the people who were not here.
It's so motivating.
So the guy comes in, and he's bringing 8 people with him. Come to find out, when he went to leave, that they told him that office is closing down and merging with another office. He's on the phone all day long doing these presentations, and all these agents, one after the other from that office, are now joining LPT. So also learn this LPT system, because once agents see it, they want it, and it's the best thing going. We know it's the best marketing piece out there, so make sure you understand it. Now go forth and multiply. If you have any questions, ask Ellie.